I come from a troubled past, the mind of a double standard. I write with the other hand.
People.
You might misunderstand them. Word to Miss Margaret Ann. She taught me cover family, amongst a lot of other things.
Now joining us for another episode of the MenOvHonor Podcast. I got two guests with me. Well, one of my brothers, Ken, with me, and the other is a guest, good friend of mine. His name is Danny. He's joining us this afternoon.
Everybody?
You know what I mean? And real briefly, Dan is I was blessed to meet this brother. I've been cutting his hair for a while, and you know, it allowed us a chance to build a relationship. You know what I mean? And to kind of get to know each other. And I kind of wanted him to share his story. You know, I don't want to mess it up, so I'm going to let him go ahead and share his story, who he is, where he's from, give a little bit of his background, and that sort of thing. Go ahead, Dan.
Well, shoot, appreciate Hash having me on the show, man. My name's Danny. I was born and raised in Miami. I've actually moved here like 5 years ago. Hash is the first and I'd say the only barber who's ever been cutting my hair since I moved here. But yeah, the relationship I had with Hash kind of grew over the years. A lot of things happened in my life. One, I'd say that impacted, and I'd say I grew closer with Hash. I actually got hit by a drunk driver about 4 years ago. It cost me my right leg, but being in the right state of mind, I was able to overcome all that. Having someone, at least Hash didn't know at the time, but not only was he cutting my hair, but he was just listening to everything I was going through.
Yeah.
I'd say that's probably what made our connection grew and strong, and to this day, he's a really close friend of mine. But yeah, it sucks when you got to go through life sometimes to realize life works its ways, but it happens for reasons.
Yes, indeed.
You know, everything you go through in life, not necessarily good or bad, you should never regret. Because at the end of the day, that's what builds the person you are. That's what helps build your personality.
Right.
Growing up from a kid to being an adult, your parents can only teach you so much. Everything you got to learn, either on the street or on your own.
On your own, yeah.
You know, your parents can't always be there for you. And you say every single day is a learning day. You know, you should always do something today that's going to make you a better person tomorrow.
True indeed.
You know, and just staying on a positive mindset, man. The mind is one heck of a thing. Definitely,
true.
Definitely can heal wounds.
True.
Definitely block out every negative energy that ever goes through your life. Whether you're still sticking through it, whether you just got out of it, it's definitely there to protect you.
True. Man, one of the things that I think is amazing about Danny is I actually knew him when he had his leg, and I mean, it seems like it's nothing changed with the kid. You know what I mean? Like he loved to dance. You know what I'm saying? I've been following him for a minute, so I actually get to see, you know, where he came from, the type of person he was before he had this accident. And the dude hasn't changed one bit, bro. Still got a positive mindset, still humble, still very attentive and sharp, you know, if not sharper. So I drew to that, you know, something I could have related to. And it's been a blessing to, you know, just to be around him, to be able to talk with him. And so it was a pleasure for me to have him on the show, you know what I mean? So I'm happy to have him here, you know what I mean? Tonight, people, let me let my boy Ken talk too. Ken, what's been good, baby?
Oh no. I'm just you know, just impressed by your story, Danny. You know, a lot of people that they go through some kind of hardship, you know, even you got minor, like, I don't know, like losing your job, and then you lost your leg and something that you had no control over, and you took that extreme situation of losing your leg, having a wall come up into your life and turning that into, you know, a positive mentality. That shit that's admirable, man. You know, and it's really inspirational for a lot of folks out there that have it. I guess we all go through something, but they're in a lesser situation or a more extreme situation.
Right.
You know, maybe somebody found out that they got cancer, you know, or maybe somebody lost their leg, or more than that, you know, things of that nature. And the way that you took that and just moved with that ball and said, well, you know what? Life gave me some lemons, so I'm going to go ahead and squeeze some lemonade from this. And then I'm going to sell that lemonade and, you know, make some money off of it, too.
Right.
That's real admirable, man. And you know what? That's what, again, Hash's vision with the Men of Honor podcast. It's called Men of Honor. No, this is called Men of Honor.
Right.
So that is a good example of what a man of honor is, you know. So I give you my respect, man. You know, it's real cool what you doing. And Hash is a good listener too. Like this guy, this guy will have you talking about, like, man, I'm gonna tell you, we could talk about an ant mound and shit. We could talk about an ant mound and it'll be the most interesting conversation of all time. Like, Hash, he's a people person. You know, he is somebody that has mastered the art of conversation. He can make you feel real comfortable when you sit in that chair. It's more than a haircut.
True.
You feel me? Like it's the whole experience. You know, you sit down, you know you're gonna get cut, and it's gonna be one of the best cuts you've ever had, and you're gonna feel comfortable all the way through. You know, it's a whole experience. So I have to give my props again. I always will. Every show that we do, I'm gonna give my props to the big man Hash. You know, I've been good. Recently, I've been just trying to stay focused with my mind.
Right.
I had just purchased another book recently, you know, to keep my mind very, very active. You know, I want to step up with the intellectual side and just constantly be improving what I know and what I don't know. I want to figure it out. So, you know, I've just been trying to keep uplifting myself on the way.
True.
You know, it's not easy. You know, you're working and studying at the same time, but at the same time, you know, we only have 24 hours a day. Nobody's going to give us extra time. Like, you can't get extra time.
Man,
so
exactly.
So you know, success is all about sacrifice. You know, you sacrifice going out with the friends, or you know, watching my favorite movie, or I don't know, maybe sleeping a little bit more. You know, I'm willing to do it. You know, because I guess I have a purpose. You know, and I'm willing to. I'm do anything to fulfill it. You know.
Man, that's what's up. It's good to have you guys here. It's an honor actually to be able to share the room with y'all. You know what
likewise,
I mean?
likewise.
So, real quick, we about to dive into it. The topic of the day is: to what extent would you go to pursue a better life? As it relates to what's taking place with the government right now, and immigration, mass deportation. You know, that's been unfortunate for the illegal immigrants that reside in the United States. And, you know, my Hispanic people, you know, has been at the top of the chart with as far as the numbers go, specifically for Mexico. They've been suffering a great deal because, you know, a lot of them are in the United States residing illegally. And we just want to, you know, kind of, you know, dive into this and table it with all respects, you know, to the people on the other side. You know, I think it's a sensitive topic. I don't think it's a matter of joking. You know, a lot of families are destroyed. A lot of kids don't have parents right now because of, you know, what the government is doing, the form of action they've taken towards immigrants. So, you know, we just had a few things that we about to touch base on, and I know my brothers got, you know, their point of view on the matter, and I'm gonna just outline a few things really quick. First of all, I'm gonna give Danny a chance to kind of explain, you know, how you the knowledge you have on the situation with immigration and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I definitely think how we started off saying, you know, how far do you go to want a better life? We should always do that. With immigration, most of the people who come here legally or illegally, specifically, we're talking with the Latin community.
Yeah.
First thing they jump into is, of course, trying to find a job.
Right,
Most of them are my friends. Me being a bartender in the restaurant industry,
Yeah.
most of those people, they're in the kitchen, and not only do they have two, most of them have 3 jobs.
Yeah.
So they're coming from a third world country, either escaping government, some issues, whatever they're going through, but don't realize, or if they do, they're working twice, even 3 times harder than what they would in their country.
Right. Right.
That's overall, that's the American dream.
Yeah.
Now, there's ways you can go about it. Doing it legally, getting yourself, it might be a longer process,
Right.
but you'd still be able to get, you know, to the dream
Yeah.
the safest way, because you won't be living life if you're constantly living over your shoulder, knowing that, you know, the next day is not guaranteed. How can you survive with those 2-3 jobs when you're coming here illegally?
Yeah. And then you're not able to live working 3 jobs.
Exactly, and that's just if you just came by yourself. You come here,
Right.
maybe start a family here. Those kids are citizens. You still constantly have to look with 2 eyes over your shoulder.
Right.
Just knowing the fact you might be gone, but your kids, you don't want them to grow without no parents.
True indeed.
You're the first.
True indeed.
You're the first person you see when they enter in this world.
Right. Right.
You know,
Right.
and I wish there's the point. I wish the way we can go about getting visas, which in America it's sad when you can. It's easier to buy a gun than what it is to get a visa
Right.
in the United
to get a
States.
visa. That's crazy.
Either the process of it can either be shortened. I understand this is the land of the dream, but we need to do something to improve these people who are coming here, you know, with a purpose, with the right mindset,
Right.
not just coming in here and living off welfare
Or getting service. Yeah.
or getting
Right.
served
Government,
rather
yeah.
than if they come to the land of the dream with a purpose rather than not being lazy.
Right. Right. Now, Ken, you had something to say? You want to say?
I mean, I'm gonna say this pertaining to that. You know, right now the media, they focus largely on the Latino community when it
Right.
comes to immigration. Right. That's what you see on the news. They zone in on the Mexican border, and a lot of these people coming in, not only from Mexico but from Central America, trying to cross the border into the
Right.
United States. You know, and it's an iffy topic. You know, it's a topic that the average person, when they speak about it, either they decide not to or they walk on eggshells when they
Right.
do speak about it. It's a very complex situation to be in. You know, when you think about American history and you think about the foundation of America,
Mm-hmm.
foundation of America was built on immigrants, okay, from all over the world, okay.
Okay.
If you look at America pre-industrial revolution, it was a whole different landscape. You know, you had agriculture, but once the big cities start being built, then you had a, what's the word I'm looking for? You had a scarcity of people. You
Right.
had a scarcity of people, and the United States knew that they needed to bring in more people. Now, I don't want to get deep into it. You know, it's a complex situation. You know.
Yeah.
You know, around this time, America, and I'm talking about, you know, again, the Industrial Revolution before it really started kicking in.
Right.
You know, the Civil War had just ended shortly from there,
Yeah.
and you had the Reconstruction era. Around that time, you had a whole lot of free slaves. You know, a whole lot of ex-slaves. You know, they didn't have any skills. You know, these people had no skills whatsoever, but they were just thrown into the world.
Right.
You know, and a lot of these people actually did decide to stay on a plantation. You know, because they had nowhere to go. All they've ever known is, you know, their master
Being
and
slave,
the same labor.
Yeah.
But you did have some that did migrate into the northern states. You know.
So this is the thing.
Yeah.
My thing is, okay, I came from Trinidad, right? I'm not born of the United States. There's a process that you got to go through to obtain a visa, right? And it's about 5 years to get the visa, right? But upon coming, I was like 16, so I really didn't have a decision. I didn't have an opinion in the matter. It was like we was getting to go to the United States, and it was paradise, and we was like, yeah, let's go, But the thing is, it's a process. If I'm thinking sensibly as an adult, I'm not about to be like, let me see if I could creep into another state, and I speak, from a perspective of care and concern for these people, because I'm thinking it's like I share with a few peers of mine. That's like me being in your crib, and I crept through the back door, and you didn't know I was in the crib. You wake up to go to the kitchen. I'm already in there fixing a sandwich. I'm liable. You can literally take me off the map, and you'd be in your right. You know what I'm saying? So, from that perspective, I'm just thinking. You think about the refugee camps that they have these little kids set up in. They literally rip them away from their parents. You know what I'm saying? And it's a heartbreak situation. But when you think about it sensibly, why would you as adults not only make the attempt to, cross borders without sufficient paperwork or legal paperwork, but then you decide to start a family?
Well, see, that's
you know what I'm saying.
That's why I wanted to speak on the history first.
Okay.
Because, like I said, it's a very complex situation which America's in right now, and not only America, but a lot of other countries around the world. But just the scandalism is just the eye of scandalism is just here in the States for some reason.
Yeah.
This is the most enticing, spot to put the lens on and say, hey, these people are migrating, because really it's all around the world in a lot of different countries, especially in Europe. But in America, again, when I was mentioning on, the influx of a lot of ex black slaves who had moved up to the north, a lot of those white folks then none of them actually wanted to give those black people employment. They didn't want to be working, alongside these people in a factory making, the same dollar that they are and so forth.
Right.
So America needed to do something else. They needed to get people from around the world,
But I'm saying okay, so right now they're saying that it's, let's say, slightly over 2.1 million people that reside in the United States without legal paperwork.
Okay.
That's a large number. That's not
but America was founded on that principle of immigration.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, and at that time you had a whole influx of Europeans coming into the United States,
Okay.
And they were given all rights, all opportunities, as long as they did what they needed to do was work, and assimilate into the American system,
right,
into capitalism. There was no problem. A lot of these people coming in, from South America, from Central America, from Mexico, they are in a dire situation. You don't just go and say one day, you know what, I'm going to risk myself, my life, and my family, and go into the unknown, just because you felt like it one day. That is a dire situation that they're in, that is pushing them to make dire decisions,
Right.
desperate decisions. So these people, of course, they don't have anything, so they don't have anything to lose by coming over here.
I think what Hash is trying to say is the problem isn't that they have the choice or the urge to want to come here.
Okay.
It's just coming in here the
right way.
Because if they do have kids, or even at those we call them concentration camps, because that's pretty much what it is.
Basically.
Okay.
They're pretty much risking their life. They might get deported, but just because how it is right now in this time of day, they might not even make it alive back to go to Mexico.
I'm going to say this. my family, both of my family, the sides of my family, immigrated here to the United States. My mother's side immigrated from Central America, Salvador. My father's side immigrated from Colombia. At the time that my grandmother first came into the United States was in the 1980s, okay?
Right.
And my mother came shortly after that. When they came over here, they came during the Civil War in Salvador. And the Civil War in Salvador was one of the most terrible happenings in human history, okay? I'm talking about people being killed in the streets, murdered, women being raped, okay? The young boys, if you were at a certain age, the militants would take you, and you'd have to join the army. If you didn't join the army, they would shoot you on sight.
In El Salvador.
In El Salvador at that time.
Okay.
So these people had no choice.
Okay.
There was a huge influx of immigration from Central America into America at this time. So you have a choice. Either I die, okay, or I have a chance somewhere else. I might get deported, but it's a better chance than just dying.
See, that's what I wanted to get at, because at first I'm just like, you know, and you gotta think, half of these people, they not educated enough on history to be able to, you know, decipher where this started. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just thinking from a logical standpoint, like, you know, and I get it. I get it. You know, you live your life. At some point, you have a dream to start a family, and that's kind of normal. But at the expense of your family being divided by force, and you losing everything, and then corrupting a child, I'm trying to balance it out. Is it actually worth it? You feel what I'm saying?
Coming from a lot of the environments where there's no such thing as hope. Yeah.
I got you.
I say it's worth it.
I got you. Yeah, because I really wanted to, you know, have some Hispanic people that's of the native of Mexico that can explain just how devastating it is. But I don't know if that might violate some.
A lot of the areas are third world countries, you know, and a lot of those people coming in, they aren't. Well, you know what? There are a lot of people that I've met. A lot of immigrants from Venezuela. These are people with full-on degrees, you know, doctors in their own countries, dentists, you know, lawyers. But when they come over here, all those accolades don't matter over here, so they have to start from the complete bottom.
Pretty much, yeah.
But you know that's still, you know, it's boggling to me, because you have a doctorate degree, you have accountant's intelligence, you know what I'm saying? But you didn't calculate you needed a visa to come to the States?
Again, Hash, you know, it just depends on the situation that you're in. Like, a lot of these people are, it's desperate measures that they take. It's not actions that, you know, they lose everything.
Right,
you know, to come to America legally, it takes a lot of money, one. It takes a lot of time and a lot of paperwork, okay? What if you don't have money? But you still need to get the hell out of where you are. Okay, what if you don't have the education? You know, well, does that mean that your life is less valued enough that you don't need to come over here? I mean, it's just, and then the thing is, it's more complex. You just can't let a lot of immigrants into a country, you know, with no vetting. Yeah, it does, because a lot of people can, you know, be criminals, and you know, just they want to do wrong and whatnot. But
so then, would you rather just stricter the rules or the things you have to go through?
I think so. Damn, getting into gun laws and all that.
That's what, we were talking about that too. We was like,
but
do we want to tap into that?
But you know, when you buy a gun, they do a background check, right? Now, a lot of these people don't have any paperwork and whatnot. A lot of these people come from the countryside and all that. But I think there should be some kind of evaluation to decide if somebody, you know, is able to stay in the country or not. A lot of people that I've seen that have immigrated over here have been some of the most hardworking people I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, you know? And that's one thing I want to, you know, put some respect on these people for.
Absolutely.
Their work ethics is off the chain. You know, and I ain't gonna lie, somebody was sharing to me that before, and this is a sensitive area, but they saying, like, before the immigrants came to the States in such mass numbers, you had African American people that was to be hired for the same jobs that they had. But they saying that allegedly we wouldn't accept this type of pay. So it was at the time where the immigrants, they wanted to get into the state. And they already calculated in their mind, we about to do whatever to, create home here. So then they just like infiltrated the entire platform and took over that whole, that genre of work. And now have made a, reputable name for themselves. You feel me?
Well, you have to look at it in a more deeper way, Ash. Like when we compare black people to, like you just mentioned, they didn't want to do that. And these people took it upon themselves to do it, and then, use that as a vehicle to uplift themselves.
Yeah.
I believe in white supremacy. I believe that has had a lot of effect in the way people of color and minorities think in America. It's a very damaging mindset, so these people from abroad, I'm not saying that white supremacy doesn't exist worldwide, but it's more permanent here in America. And I feel that a lot of these people immigrating into America, like Africans, Asians, and so forth, they have a sense of community. Okay. I grew up in Bel Air, all right, on the southwest side of Houston. I'm talking about these Asian people, mostly Vietnamese and Chinese communities. They would come here with nothing, absolutely nothing, starting from ground zero.
Right.
Within a year, they're driving a Lexus. Why?
But they have a system within themselves too.
But it's mostly the community. Everybody helps everybody out.
I see what you're
You
saying.
saying if one family of 18 will if possible, will live in one house.
You talking about Hispanics?
I'm talking about Asians right now.
Okay.
I'm talking about Asians right now.
Yeah.
18, so they can all save money together. All right, all save money, pull in money,
Right.
and then start a business
Right.
and have power, owning financial freedom, working for themselves. And then pulling in the whole community until what you see today is a whole section of Houston
Right.
that's owned by Asian business people, and I feel like when it comes to black people, there's a lot of sense of division, but that all comes down to the education, to what
Right.
we
The
see
lack of
on
education,
TV
right.
and so
True.
forth. And Hispanics, they do have a sense of unity too. Look at the Sharpstown area, it's primarily Latino businesses,
Yeah, right.
primarily Latino businesses. You have a lot of hard-working Latinos that live honestly and, want to pay taxes and live like any other American,
Right.
And I get it. You do have bad people, too. How do you vet those people out? How do you know what I'm saying?
Again,
See, go ahead.
I was gonna say that just goes again like with people just trying to get in. If there's always gonna be a legal and an illegal way.
Yeah.
That's how businesses run.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's how they run. Right.
You're gonna cheat someone because you still need their business at the end of the
Right.
day. Stricter backgrounds. I know we're not talking about gun laws and everything, but I'm 100% with that. I'm not opposed about anyone not holding. They don't have to own a gun, but everyone should know how to shoot one. Right.
Mhm.
So coming to America, everyone knows there's rules. Everyone knows what the process is, what the paperwork is.
See, the thing is, what happens with the people that already paid to come in legally? It's not fair to them if you let a whole bunch of people that are trying to come in illegally, Of course, they have those steps, So what do you do in that situation? It's like the confusing factor in all this.
Well,
yeah.
To
Exactly.
be honest with you, that would be almost two separate issues because the people who are fighting to get here, they don't give a damn about who got status. They trying to get here.
They
You know
trying
what
to
I'm
get
saying?
here.
So it doesn't even go hand in hand. And who's to be blamed? Because like you say, and I'm slowly getting to understand that some people, they feel, especially in places like Mexico, they gotta get out of here. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to understand that. But see, you know, coming from Trinidad, I don't think Trinidad is much different from Mexico. It's a third world country. It's a place where you would see extreme poverty.
So you know poverty here and poverty over there.
It's
two different beasts.
poverties. Yeah, I already know.
Two different beasts, right?
You know what I'm saying? If you get assistance from the government, if you want Section 8 and you getting food stamps, you really have not experienced real poverty.
There's no such thing as food stamps over there.
No, indeed. I know some people in Trinidad right now. They eat what they plant, right? I always tell people this. They have guys who wear boxes, walking down the street with a pair of slippers.
Yeah.
Or people call them chancletas.
Yeah.
And look, they call that short pants. That's an outside fit. These is what these people is wearing.
Casual
Poor people in the slum. You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't think people understand it, and I don't expect them to. I don't expect people from the United States to understand. But my thing is, if I'm approaching a better life, I want another chance at a better life. I'd want to do that the clean way as much as possible, because, you know, that our natural desire gonna be to start a family. You know, you meet a female, you gonna meet, you know, you get into a relationship. You probably want to get married. You don't want to have to be worried about, you know, these people. I'm talking about immigration is pulling up to your door now and just knocking and like.
And that's a nice way about it. They'll just sometimes just pull you up while you're trying to get groceries for your family.
But that comes, and see, now I have a clear vision of what you're trying to convey with that.
Yeah.
You know, these people just risking, you know, just getting your kids snatched and leaving them alone. I, for one, see, this is the thing with that. When it comes to those type of situations, those people they live in fear constantly because of that happening.
Okay.
Now, how do you prevent that? You know, a lot of these people coming in from third world countries don't have a proper education. Most of them.
Right.
You know?
Education is definitely key.
A lot of these people are like country folk, you know.
Yeah,
they don't. So, I mean, if you don't have a job, right, in your country, you don't have an education, you sitting at home all day, what's the best thing to do? Just have sex all day with your wife.
Right, and you know what?
As a man, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As a man, just sleep with your wife all day, you know, and kids happen. Like, you don't know what sexual education is. Like, you don't know how to prevent STDs and how to prevent what a condom is. You know, most of these people don't know, you know. So they come over here with the same mentality. So how do you stop that? The idea, my utopia idea would be have people come in, but before they come in, you educate them, you assimilate them to the system. You know, you provide them free education if possible, and you know, you make them on equal ground as every other American that's born here, so they don't make ignorant decisions, if that makes sense. You know, so these people don't just have children, you know, and risk the lives of the children to being exposed to things that they don't need to see, in situations that they don't need to be in because they're legal and their parents need to go back to their country.
Yeah.
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
And honestly, go ahead, Danny. Go ahead.
Well, I was just say, correct me if I'm not. I'd say what, at least this is just from what news are saying right now, the biggest thing or the latest thing that Trump right now is supposed to start, I think September, is a law that if an illegal immigrant comes over here on this side, or I think it's even with a visa, they cannot ask for help as far as, you know, like with welfare. We're talking about Section 8 and all that. So that's pretty much what they were limiting, or I guess that's one of the small problems why I'm pretty sure he's doing this war, wants to increase the taxes of anything that's coming over from Mexico. It's just because he doesn't, I guess he sees more that immigrants coming in not only are seeing that, yes, we can help with services, food stamps, Section 8, but they're coming in here, like you said, they're lazy, so they're okay with it.
Yeah.
They're not okay with bettering their lives.
Yeah.
Then that'll take part as far as how the type of person that comes in, which, again, we won't know until they're here.
Right, until they're here.
Because you can still be a lazy person but not have a criminal background.
Exactly, and is that the separation between the person that wants to work and the person that just wants government assistance it's tough, man. Like you can't just look at somebody and put them in line B and say, okay, this one's going that way, and all right, line B, you're going to be the one working, like an honest person. That I guess.
I'm hearing a noise in this headphone.
I guess for me, it's all about accountability, like just putting people on probation for a certain amount of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then just watching them for maybe a year and see what their progress is like. And if they needed government assistance, see, like government assistance and food stamps is another issue. Like if you try to help yourself, they take that shit away. I used to be on food stamps. I grew up on food stamps for a pretty long time. And if my mom tried to get a good job, the government would take the money away for us to be able to eat right. But if you didn't do nothing and just behave like a bum, they would give you all the money you need. So that's a whole nother problem that needs to be fixed with that government food stamp stuff, man. Like it's like it keeps you trapped.
So look, real quick, I really wanted to reach out to the public and have people call up if you can to the station and just if you from that background, maybe you could enlighten us in some way on what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Because once again, the whole idea of even having this type of this talk show is to be able to render some sort of solution. Maybe it might motivate somebody to, talk to somebody else. It could start small, you know what I'm saying? But my thing was, I just didn't see the logic, because I kind of understand though, Ken. It's just I'm so torn because I understand what you're saying, but I'm just like, man, imagine if I've been here 20-something years. Imagine if I would have came here legally. I started, my oldest son is 11. I would have got deported right now. My entire mission as a dad would have been devastated, bro, because I felt the need to take that risk. Now, my little kids is going to suffer because I'm not here. You feel what I'm saying? And this is my thing. When I seen the refugee camp, these kids are devastated. I mean, you can't play with lives. I understand.
It's a sad situation.
It's a sad situation. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, you got to regard them. They didn't ask to come here.
Absolutely.
And this is my thing. I understand how bad it might be in their country, but I still don't think it's worth bringing kids involved because our world is already at a corrupted state. You know what I'm saying? If you guys, agree with that. But I just want to bring the kids out here, dog. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I said it all goes back to the education. There was a study done not too long ago about the birth rate in America, and it said that with people who are more educated, like the higher educated you are, the longer you'll wait to have children. So if you're somebody who, has some kind of doctorate degree or, is a professional at something, the average median age of having children is around mid-30s.
Wow.
Mid-30s.
Whereas if you're less educated,
then you'll probably be having children much earlier. So that's why I mentioned education. It's all about educating these people that come in, but you don't know, a lot of these people, you don't know that they come in. They sneak in across, into the country because there's no other way to get in here. They don't have any other resource to come in legally, and be assimilated through a process.
So look, do you guys think that this is a matter where the United States can step in and help? Being that this is a state of ample opportunities where the finances, the resources are a lot bigger. by far. You know what I'm
But
saying?
the thing is, you still need a lot of natives in America that need help that haven't
Of
been
course,
helped.
I agree.
makes sense.
I
That's for
agree.
sure.
So
Because no, go ahead.
no. I was just gonna say. So how do you help? How are you gonna help people coming in when the people that are already here aren't even in good condition either? That
You
makes.
say you're not in good condition. What you mean?
When I mean not in good condition, I mean people being below and at the poverty line, you know, and not having any other way to uplift themselves, being kept down by, you know, a system that doesn't
It's
have
set
any
up
love
for
for
them
them.
to fail. Okay.
A lot
It's
of
not
times.
guaranteed.
Absolutely.
But then, I mean,
What about all the people living in the projects, you know?
I know, I get that, but I'm from Trinidad, bro.
Mhm.
I made it from nothing.
Mhm.
I feel like as long as your arms and your legs is working, bro, I feel like, you know, if you was to apply your mind, because we all got gifts. I always preach that, man. We all got gifts. You got a gift that I can't do as good as you right now. There's something that you just genius at that I'm not going to be close to matching you because it was a gift given directly to you. Likewise with you, Ken. You feel me? So my thing is, where do we come about feeling comfortable enough to rely on the system for anything? Bro, I promise, I'm not saying this about, I've never been on food stamps. I've never been on Section 8. I've always paid for even my food, I paid cash coming up, right? I came from being broke, so it's not like I don't even want to give, and this is not to be harsh, but I don't want to give people the idea that it's okay to be comfortable and settle. When the purpose that you came to the United States was because you knew this was the dream land. So why come here and then get on chill mode? Where they do that at?
That's just not the purpose of coming to the United States. That should be the
indeed.
purpose of life
You could have
itself.
stayed at the crib and did that. You feel me? So my thing is, these people granted us opportunity. And I'm talking from a background of, you know, running into felonies with the law. You feel me? And I still made a way to where, you know, not only people would respect and want to do business with me because of the profession I'm in, but the law is going to respect me because they're going to check me out like, you know what, this dude been XYZ.
He just wasn't another number.
So you're saying there's no
Understand.
there's no excuse.
There's no excuse, bro.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm telling you, I wish I could say that I could have, and I'm very understanding towards the people. I came from mass poverty, so I know when you don't have a proper meal on your stomach, your mindset would be to do whatever to get something to eat or some clothes to wear. If you have kids, by all means necessary, you're going to try to feed the kids, you know what I'm saying? And that's a mind state that is, you know, birthed just because of starvation. Like, starving will make you get up and make something. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. So it's like I just refuse to be like, you know what? I understand. No, I feel like, bro, we collectively as third world immigrants, because I'm still considered an immigrant. I just have legal paperwork that allows me to reside in the United States comfortably with no problems with the law. Let's not be chill. I'm talking about, I seen women paid rent off of working at Jack in the Box and take care of a small quarter, because we done got Americanized, so to speak. So now we think we need central. Bro, I came from Trinidad, no central air. You feel me? No central air. We had to open that window, and that breeze coming through, that was as much circulation of air that we was getting. Anybody from Trinidad could attest to what I'm saying. So it's not like I'm talking, you feel me? But we came to the state now, we got central air, we got private garage, you know, we got
electricity coming
you know what I'm saying?
Buildings.
Boys got eye watches, but they ain't got no, credit card. You feel me? Like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? And my thing is, I want to encourage people to go after the dream. Keep that same energy that drove you to come across that water when you get out here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, complacentness is a real thing when you come from a country that you were born in, and you didn't have not even 1/3 of what's provided here in America,
True.
you already think you made it. Probably.
I'm telling you,
get what
bro.
I'm saying?
Bro, if you see my immigration card, Dan, right now, my green card when I came here, I'm looking like a totally different dude. Like, you see how your face is full? Like, you could almost see the joints in my face.
Skinnier is.
I'm telling you. And it's a real situation that people might take for granted, but it's just true. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, you know, and I'm not going to lie. When I got into my little trouble or whatever in the past, I went through ISIS. I went through immigration. And in my mind, I'm like, these people about to deport me. But for some reason, none of my charges was great enough to cause me to get deported. And that was something that was out of my reach. You know what I'm saying? It had to be none but God, because there's no way. I'm talking about, I got friends right now that's in Trinidad that got deported, that was out here. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm just like, nah. I just want people to really just, you know, think about where you came from, if not nothing else. Think about how extreme it was over there. Think about the lack and the freedom that we have here that we didn't have over there. And I think it would give you a slight oomph to get up and be like, you know what? I need to make something shake, B. And I need to make it the right way. You know what I'm saying? That's just my argument.
Basically, if you get deported back, you're starting over again. You
Again,
already come into the country starting over.
Yeah.
You run the chance of getting deported again. Nobody wants to start over twice.
No. And from my understanding, the way the deportation process works, once you get kicked out, you don't have a welcome back into the United States. Now, people, y'all could correct me if I'm wrong, but I got some people that's been deported, and they can't come back right now. So I don't know if is it something that you can earn your status back, or, you know, I don't know how that goes.
I think it might just be based, like, what was the reason they probably got deported. You know, some people get deported committing a crime, selling a key of meth or something.
Yeah.
Then, of course, now you're revoked, and you're definitely going to jail.
You're not
over there,
yeah.
and you're getting revoked.
Yeah, so, and then this is the thing. Like we was talking, like Ken was saying, these people come from harsh measures, right? So you take that risk. You come over here, you violating whatever way you did. Now you got to start back from scratch in the savage environment you try to run from. Yeah, it's kind of backwards to me.
Yeah.
Because now you came from having a chance. Now you back at square one. Now you savage one more time. But the only thing is, you're savage and heartbroken because your kids is American citizens.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? That's a hell of a decision to make, to me, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying?
You know, we're going to talk about the parents leaving their children behind. I don't have any kids. You're a parent.
Yeah.
I mean, I have the closest things. Like I have a little sister. She's 10. I'm gonna be 25. I'm 25. Okay, that's big age gap right there. Right. Mm-hmm. But I guess I kind of could get an idea of what it was like to have a child because I love her so much. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I grew up with her. You know, since she was a baby. I mean, if I was illegally here in the country and my child was legal, and I was gonna get deported, my child would be coming with me. You know, a lot of these parents don't want their children to go with them because they know what kind of environment awaits. Yeah, right. And they would never be able to even comprehend the dangers and the despair that they might find on the other side where their parents came from. But regardless, I would never be able to leave a child of mine behind. Now, thousands of miles away from me. That would never be possible. You know.
Now, with all due respect, Dan, you have any kids?
I do not have any kids.
Okay. It's totally different when you actually have kids. You know what I mean? And I'll say that with respect because it's a different situation. A lot of every decision you make is gonna be based on how it affects the child. You know what I mean?
So what would you do in that situation?
So honestly, and it's interesting what you just said because I was under the impression that they was forced apart, meaning that the government, when they separated these people, they forcefully sent the parents back and they forcefully kept the kid because the kid is a United citizen. My thing is, if it's that bad, I mean, it doesn't even matter. If it's your kid, I think your kid would have major long-term benefits if you was to keep them with you, because your influence is really has, I want to say, 99% of the effect on what that child turns out to be in the future. You know what I mean? So it's not even a matter of how hard it is where you came from at this point. It's more or less, you know, the absentee of me not being there for the kid, the outcome could be a greater devastation than if you actually was to keep your kid. You know what I mean? So yeah.
From personal experience in my own family, when my grandmother first immigrated to the United States in the early 80s, she left 3 children behind. My mother, one of my aunts, and my uncle. Okay? And my grandmother didn't see her own children's faces until she brought them here almost 8-9 years later. They were already teenagers. She left them when they were around 10, 7, and she didn't see their faces until they were already women, adults now. And that relationship rift will never be able to be fixed. It's never going to be the same. You see your parent, it's a stranger to you. Who is this person? That's why I'd be adamant, not only because you don't know the state of your child's in, but that relationship is not going to be the same. You're going to lose that.
Just to tag on again, you went through it. Nobody knows and speaks it better than you do. But maybe at the moment when she brought you over to the States, that relationship was blurry.
Right.
But for your near future and your future that you weren't even thinking of yet, that was probably the smartest thing to do.
Right.
I mean, at the time, again, it only took 8 years.
Right.
If someone we talk about how just doing it the right way, coming here illegally, just because you have a visa, you still have to, like you say, stay here another 5 years.
Yeah, you have to be here for some time.
Right?
Yeah.
Then you got to do a test for citizenship. That could probably take another 5 years, another 5-10 years. So it's not how it is back then when it was 8. Like you said, 8-9 years. Now it's going to be probably like 20 years before you can even bring someone else. Yeah.
Right, because I honestly, when I was in Trinidad, it took about 5 years to get your visa. So, if it did change and the time did extend, then that might be a factor.
Now, mind you, when this happened, though, my mother and my uncle and my aunt, they all came here illegally too.
Mm-hmm.
No. It's only when it's mid 80s or late 80s when Ronald Reagan was president, he signed a bill that automatically put, I think, 2 million immigrants in the United States of America.
Right.
They made them legal. They were now, if they were working class citizens, these people were now eligible to be American citizens.
Man, I'm not gonna lie.
And I guess people are looking for that repetition of that moment in history,
right?
That Reagan did with legalizing a whole bunch of illegal immigrants. I don't know nothing about it. I can't speak on it.
Right? No, I got you. I ain't gonna lie. I'm just from a standpoint of being an immigrant at one point or another. We might not have the education or the resources that these people have. So let's not start way up there. We got to start from what these people actually do know. What the education they have is based on experience and survival. That's it. Like books, these people might not even have book sense. So from that perspective, I would say, it's we start from the basics, you know what I'm saying? So, let's learn how, in my opinion, this is just my opinion once again, let's learn how to, successfully go through the process. Maybe if we know it take 20 years now, had these kids start from, let's say, 10 and sign their paperwork so that they can begin the process. So by the time they're at least 2025, now they could come. By then also, they have established a sense of security because of being in one place for 2 decades. You feel what I'm saying? Because it's different. Like when I came over here I came over at 16. I literally was snatched from all the friends that I knew from the time I was born to 16, right? To this day, all those people that I knew in Trinidad are total strangers. They feel like I am a total stranger. Like, it's like I'm not a Trinidadian no more. And some of these people, and it sucks because I knew these people at one time. But because of how long I've been taken away from there, I lost touch. So we're not able to, we no longer have this bond that we once had. It's a different psychological effect, you know what I mean? So I would say let the kids stay there at least till they're legal adults. You know what I'm saying? 25 would be a good age because at this point, you kind of have a sense of where you want to go with your life. You know what I'm saying? If I'm saying it correctly. And, just do the paperwork because, I could not imagine where I would be if I was to be kicked out of the United States. My youngest son is 5. I'm going to be absent. Now, the 5 years I barely fought to have a relationship with him means absolutely nothing now because now I'm never being able to come back to see him day for day. That's a little bit more painful to me.
You're not doing the duty of the jobs of what a father's supposed to be.
No, and I'm absent. To me, I feel like, they say, if it was real, you would come back. I say, if it was real, you would have never left.
Yeah, for real.
Like for real. I heard that quote. I heard Jay-Z made that quote, or they made a quote with Jay-Z on it, saying, if it was really real, you would have never left. You would have fought to. And it's crazy. Those little kids that was separated from their parents, they don't give a damn about. They don't understand what's going on with the government. All they know is that when they're 18, 19, I guarantee you, these kids, first thing on their mind is, where were you for the last 10 years? No, well, I got deported. They don't know nothing about. They just, where were you? Where was you at? You wasn't here. Now you're dealing with a stranger. For instance, like they got a lot of dads out here right now. They've been stripped away by way of child support, by way of the correctional facility, and they have to be incarcerated or do some sort of time. Now, I've talked to a few dads. And I ain't spoke to my son since he was 10. He 23 right now. He looking at me like a total stranger. He doesn't know you. And is it his fault? You know what I mean? So it's really a harsh kind of situation to be in my opinion. And that would just be my word of advice would be to start the kids because inevitably, like Ken said, education might not be a huge. It might be a challenge to some people. We all wasn't built for college and school. I get that. But at least let's get the kids started as early as 5. From the time these kids are able to obtain a Social Security in the United States, they're able to put on some sort of assistance right away because they have a number. So if it's based on a number, let's get these kids signed up with the proper processing to become citizens in the United States so that when they have become of age, by then they would have had some ground because it's such thing as identity crisis, and my identity crisis, I might have suffered from identity crisis to a small degree because I've been taken away in half my life. You feel what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm making sense. But if these kids were to be allowed to 2025 in the same state, manage how you manage, learn some things, get discipline under your belt, because you're coming from poverty. Poverty is not the worst thing because it teaches you humility to me. So, all that's a blessing so that when you get to the United States, now you have a sense of appreciation for a second chance. Now you're like, you know what, bro? Where I was looking at working at UPS as a low job, it's like a gift to me now because I know where I came from. You feel what I'm saying? As opposed to bringing them out here, the wrong way, and risking the whole family relationship being devastated, the circle being corrupted, and now you have kids once again with the same story. My dad and my mom wasn't there. You know what I mean?
It's a broken family.
It's just a broken family. So, if we're in the business of reproducing and creating life, I would say, man, let's try, to find a solution that works for these people, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Let me see. My next question was I want to get y'all, you guys have anything to add to it?
I mean, for me, it's just the situation again is very complex, and I bring it up again to the education and the other subject matter of helping the people that are already here. I'm talking about Americans themselves. There was a study done not too long ago about 14.9% of Americans were living at the poverty line or below the poverty line, which is about 46 million Americans, in America, born here.
That's going through poverty.
That's unacceptable for such a great country, and apparently the most powerful country in the world. So, our resources, I hate to, it sounds selfish and stuff, but I'd rather, help the people that are here, and maybe those people can then in turn help others around the world. It's like a dropping a pebble in a pond, it's a ripple effect and it spreads, Yeah. So I would just leave it at that. About you, Dan?
Nah, man, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The domino effect, that'll definitely, we can't help other people coming into our country because it's not just Mexicans coming in. You have all these, and we've been sticking with the Latin community, but there's still immigrants coming from North, Europe, everywhere.
Right.
It's difficult to just try and help, one specific or specific people coming from a country because that country is going through war or that country is, it's a democracy.
Right.
It's hard to just target just those countries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we naturally, and maybe everybody's not thinking like this, but when we say help people, we're not really talking about just one group of people. You know what I mean? I think there's a list actually on this website that I have. It's hold on, let me pull it up real quick. Give me 1 second, y'all. It's called Migration Policy Institute. They literally break down the stats of the people of ethnic background and where the background of Black, Asians, Chinese, where they stand. Mexico being at the top of the list, the Caribbean being at the very bottom. Then you have below Mexico, you have places like Asia, Africa. You know what I'm saying? These places, there's a little bit of immigrants coming from each of these countries. So it's not just one. But I would say, just generally, it's a general rule to apply for everybody. You know what I mean? Just to prevent, because I ain't gonna lie, if they was to tear me away from my circle right now, I would probably go into depression, bro. I'm not gonna lie, because I would feel like I have disappointed 2 kids. Now, we would say 2 kids is 2 kids, but these is 2 kids that likely to be the next president or be potentially have a chance of changing the world that we know as it is right now. And we would have killed that purpose, being that we didn't carry out our entire responsibility, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So, it's understood. It should be something that goes towards everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, your perspective on the diamond effect is what you say.
The ripple effect.
The ripple effect. It would work. It would work. In my opinion, you know what I'm saying. I'm just saying, from the other side, it still leaves out a large population of people that want a chance at a new life and is willing to do whatever to get it. You know what I mean?
The thing is with the government, you can't prioritize foreigners over their own people in
True
your country.
indeed. Yeah,
that's a
true
big
indeed.
issue within
Yeah, true
itself.
indeed,
So,
yeah.
like, again, it's a volatile topic to talk about.
Yeah,
you know.
I got you.
So
I got you. And we don't want to rub no nerves. You feel me? It could get real sensitive, but you know, it was something that I felt connected to, and I felt that, you know, we could break down, maybe inspire somebody that's listening or somebody that's out there to, you know, give the proper way a try, if you will. You know what I mean? Like, let's do this thing the right way so we don't gotta suffer being kicked out and our kids being out in the refugee camp. You know, it's painful, dog. You know what I mean? So, all right, the next question is, you know, is the government truly at fault for deporting illegal immigrants?
Danny, I'm gonna give you that dynamite. I'm gonna give you that stick of dynamite, man.
I'd say the government isn't at fault because we didn't tell them to come the wrong way. But also, I do believe prioritizing the people we do deport, basing on why should I take a gentleman, an old man, a father, away from his family when he's proving papers that he's paying taxes, he's working, he's maintained a household. Right. For over 10 years, 20 years, no criminal background, no DWI.
Give him a chance.
Why am I trying to make someone who's succeeding a statistic?
If the mother trucker is working and he's been working for 15 years, you feel me, and he's been doing what he's supposed to do, and he's living like an average American, leave him alone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just leave him alone. It's just. But
I'm saying, let's look at it from a realistic standpoint too. If I'm making a sandwich in your kitchen, you just gonna leave me alone?
Again, if you paying taxes, if that man's getting taxes taken away from him,
if he brought his stuff to make a sandwich and offered you one,
he's taking advantage of the system in no way. Nah, it's not the same. It's not the same, Hash. It's not the same because again, the guy, a person, whatever. You come to America, man, and you working like you earning your wage like everybody else, and you giving your money to the government like everybody else. You just as equal as everybody else, and you've been doing it for a long time. Like all of a sudden, the government finds you 15 years later and says, "Oh man, you ain't got no papers, man. I'm sorry, you gotta go." Why though? Like I ain't done nothing. Like Danny said, like. The dude hasn't, or the gal hasn't broken any rules or broken the law. Like, just mind your business. Like, it just to me at that point, it shouldn't matter at that point. You know.
See, this is why we let the Colombian Negro talk.
And I didn't mean to change the subject and take away from what you were saying, man.
I really didn't like this, man. Like, for example, like you want to use, the phrase about the crib.
Yeah.
You invite a stranger who happens to know how to install cable.
Yeah.
You're letting a stranger go in your house to fix your cable.
Yeah.
You're letting a stranger come to the United States that has a job, just wants a better life for himself, and doing everything the right way. It's the same thing, right?
I know, but if this
it's like, you know what? I'm going to go in your house, but you know what? I'm going to build you a third floor.
Exactly.
You know?
But check this out.
It's going to be a game room, a theater room.
What if this stranger you talking about with such high credentials of billing cable also specializes in laying pipe?
Okay.
And you got a daughter at the crib. You feel me?
Oh, man, I don't know what you're getting into now, man. I don't know what you're getting into now. I don't know what you're getting into now.
This dude is a pipe specialist. You feel me? And you got a 15-year-old daughter. She just developed. She's in a prime. She's about to leave high school and graduate. But you want to show him some mercy because he know how to fix cables.
All I'm saying is,
run a gamble, though.
all I'm saying is, if you're the type of individual who's an honest, working honestly, man, leave him alone.
I got you, though.
But that government. Back to the question, the government at fault. I say, what was it? The government at fault to how they process it?
My question was: is the government truly at fault for deporting illegal immigrants?
I mean, it's the law.
It's the law.
So and it's not only in America; it's around the world.
It's around the world.
Every country has a policy on illegal immigration if right now, if I said I'm gonna go to Mexico and I'm just gonna cross the border, nobody gonna know I'm there, and I'm gonna try to make a life over there, I'm gonna get sent the hell back because there's no paperwork on. Like I'm illegal in that country. I have no visa to stay there. It's everywhere. So I mean, you can't blame them. Now, the process of how they go about and do it, yeah, you could do it way in a much more better manner than, like when you go into somebody's house. That, like, let's bring up the scenario with the guy working here for 15 years, having his own house at this point, his own family. When you got officers busting down the door and, you know, throwing you on the ground and handcuffing you and sticking you in the back of a van or patrol car or whatever, like, yo, like, you dignify this man. Like, he's not a criminal, you know. When you have children in a facility surrounded by cage wire and, you know, those foil thermal blankets sleeping on the floors and stuff, like, that's not the way to go, homie. You know, like, y'all doing it wrong.
Yeah, they're making the life worse because they just took them out and they're putting them in a place that they don't have a bed, probably sleeping in their own urine and feces, possibly killing them. So and not only deporting back, you just causing his life.
You treating these people, a lot of these folks, like
animals,
like livestock. You know,
livestock,
and no human being. No decent human being, because there's scumbags out there, you know, but no decent human being should be treated like that. So the government can do a better way of handling the process of deportation, but are they at fault for deporting? In my little small opinion, no. I don't think that's wrong.
Yeah, because I ain't gonna lie, that little van y'all was talking about, that van, I rode in that van. That van is very small. Yeah, I'm 6'4". I mean, my kneecaps was damn near right here.
Under your chin.
Yeah, and it's painful because the driver, he don't give a damn. He hitting them corners.
Now, hold on. Handcuffed.
And let's be clear, not the chrome joints, the plastic joints. Yeah, when he pulled that, I'm talking about you ain't going nowhere. It looked like, you know, when you go to H-E-B and you see the chicken with
tied up.
That's how you know it's fresh.
How you know it ain't no game? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I agree, man. I agree. I don't think that the government's not at fault. You know, I think as a people, let's start making some futuristic decisions as opposed to just right on the spot. You feel me? Like, let's think a little bit, because at the end of the day, we want a better life. I don't really know nobody that's just born to want to die. I mean, I know a few people with regards, some people went through hell. Suicide is on the mind, but I'm talking about you just had a decent chance at life, and you just wanted to be cut short. I don't know too many people like that. You know?
Every person wants to be happy.
Yeah,
you know,
want a chance.
They want to be comfortable, happy, secure. Not everybody has, you know, delusions of grandeur and, you know, wants to be president. Yeah. Some people just want to work a 9 to 5 and have, you know, come home to their family and, you know, take
because
care
they
of
got the appreciation for just a basic life.
So in essence, in turn, I mean, we have to, as a people that we are in America, you know, everybody thinks that we have it all here, which is not the case. I brought up, you know, the 46 million Americans living below or at the poverty line. Like, there's still a lot of dumb, you know, issues and problems that we have in America. And this immigration thing, you know, it's just another one of those. It just comes with the territory that is the United States of America. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be able to solve both sides of the coin, because let's say we help all these immigrants and so forth, and we just give everybody papers and we make everybody legal and everything's good and happy. No, it's not. You're going to have a lot of angry Americans, you know, say, oh, well, you know, these people, they don't even have American rights, you know, but we're born here, you know, we're citizens, and we're left in the back, in the shadows, you know, never to be seen from, you know, neglected. You're going to have another angry mob come up, you know. So
Yeah, I see that.
You gotta
pretty much adding more people to the poverty list rather than decreasing the number.
No one's ever gonna be satisfied. You always gonna have an unsatisfied group. You know.
I ain't gonna lie, you're right, because it's a way of the mind. You know, the way the mind is influenced is really based on, you know, how society gradually moves. You know what I'm saying? So, like, whereas, you know, back home in a third world country, rice. This how the meal go. It's gonna be rice, beans, maybe some provision on the side, and a glass of juice. Now that's it. It's not gonna. And then we done got creative. My mom used to put like lettuce, tomatoes. Mm-hmm. She made a homemade salad, but it's gonna be real simple. It's times where it ain't nothing else but homemade bread and some butter. That's it.
Man, you know what? Here in America, I've gone long periods, and not only me, but other people in the country can attest to eating ramen, noodle soup every day. You know, maybe peanut butter and bread every day because you budgeted. You can't afford, like, if you go over, that's your light bill. You know, that's your rent. Oh, that's gonna be your insurance, you know, note or whatever you got going on, or your gas. So it's not.
So it's still to be considered.
It's still mind. To be considered in America.
Yeah,
like I said, a lot of people live in poverty here, man. Like, it's not just around the world. These people coming in, they come. See that I feel like the average immigrant, and I don't want to offend anybody, but and this is just because of what I know. Mm-hmm. From the outside countries, mm-hmm. They think that everybody in America must think they're driving a Bentley, living in a big ass house, living very well, no worries, no financial worries whatsoever. But they get here, they figure, oh shit, like it's not the paradise that I thought it was.
Yeah,
it is not the paradise I thought it was. Like, over there, let's say you go to Dominican Republic, you go over there with $2K. Man, you could live like a movie star for, like, you know, maybe like almost a month over there. But what did you do to get the $2K to bust your ass, you know, working to get it over here, you know? Not everybody has a professional career in this country. You got loads of Americans working minimum wage jobs, you know what I'm saying? Saving money, you know, busting their asses, saving if they're able to. That's if they're able to, you know.
But check this out. Let's put this into perspective real quick, right?
It's getting hot.
Yeah, it's getting hot. You know what I'm saying? But we almost about to wrap up. But you think you need a lot of stuff until it's taken away. Then you realize, you know what? I didn't need that. Do you guys, am I making sense? Like, for instance.
You talking about material wealth?
No, I'm talking about basic necessities. In my opinion, a shower, somewhere to rest your head, and a meal. That's it. Everything else is really luxury.
Now, but that's not the American way, though.
There you go. That's your answer. That's the American way.
It's more than a vision. It's a programming that's gone for hundreds of years. I mean, in America itself, when you had the Industrial Revolution, right, and then you had capitalism come and take over, you had a whole reprogramming of the human mind, of the American mind, to consumerism. Mm-hmm. So the average American, they must function on that consumerism mindset, and capitalism, the system itself, thrives through consumers. You know, mm-hmm. The America wouldn't be what it would be today if everybody had that same mentality of, you know what, I don't need the new phone, or I don't need that new laptop. As a matter of fact, I don't need a new car. I don't need no more clothes, but, you know, a white T-shirt and, you know, one pair of drawers and 2 jeans, you know, and 1 pair of shoes. America wouldn't be what it is today, you know. So there you have it, folks. So basically, it's based on the environment. Can we agree on that?
Yeah,
for sure.
It's just the environment, because, like I say, my opinion on what we would need to make it would be different from somebody who's from the United States. So I got to be understanding to that. But we about to just wrap this thing up. I just want to say thank you to you guys for, you know what I'm saying, sharing the room with me. It's a pleasure to have y'all here as always. Dan, thank you for coming through.
Yeah,
you know
thanks
what I'm
anytime.
saying?
This is
Yeah.
information.
You gotta come back.
Yeah,
gotta bring Dan
definitely.
back.
You gotta come back. You know what I'm
bring
saying?
Dan back. Yeah.
And you know, I got a saying, you know, before, and this is for everybody in this room. Before me, there was none. After me, there will be many. Hate, jealousy, and envy is amongst the few. But for all that, we got remedy. And that's just basically what it is. And what it means is, before you, there shouldn't be nobody else. In other words, when you came into the picture, you should have wanted to inspire some sort of change, which means whether it's your kids or kids that you influence outside, you know what I'm saying? But you wanted to cultivate some sort of change. So now there's multiple yous, if you get what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what we all would want to inspire to do, is to create some sort of change. The other thing I like to say is, you know, we could sit around and talk garbage all day, but it's so much better when we could put some honor on it. You know what I'm saying? We do a lot of garbage talking and waste a lot of time. So I think this is in itself is it's honorable. You know what I'm saying? And I would do whatever to, you know, share this room with y'all, you know, as many times as we could. You know what I mean? So
does that mean I'm gonna get knighted sometime soon?
I don't know, but you know what I'm saying,
King.
we're gonna have to work something out. You know what I mean? But yeah, I just wanted to shout out Skrilla for, you know, allowing us to use this platform. I appreciate you. I want to shout out Darius, my brother. I appreciate you for coming through and taking your time to share this moment with us. I know this man could be with his family right now.
Instead, he has the cameras on.
Instead, he got the cameras.
I'm being
on,
watched.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, big shout out to him, and you know, I fool with him tough. You know, if I could, I have him on everything I do. So it's much love. I appreciate y'all people. Thanks for, you know, bearing with us. You know, once again.
Yo, Hash, you said you was gonna recommend a book at the end of every episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. For
Education.
Yeah, let's do it. So, you know, we all about self-development, you know what I'm saying? And me and Ken, as well as Danny, we on the same page with that. You know what I'm saying? These brothers are on their way up. You know what I mean? Lately, I've been digging into, and I didn't give the proper quotation, but I read it a few times, How to Win and Influence Friends. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. You know what I mean? It's a powerful book. I still think you guys should get it. It helps with understanding, you know, how to relate to people in the world of business. You know what I'm saying? Just on a general scale. Little things that we might have overlooked, you know what I'm saying? We actually, you would be mind blown to see how that would change the way, you know what I'm saying, you relate to people in the world of business. So that's the book I'm still on. I got a few more books, you know what I'm saying, but I'm gonna give it to you guys piece by piece. Another book I want to recommend, because this is another episode, is the Power of a Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. You know what I mean? That's another book that changed the way I talk, the way I think, what I say. So that's it, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Much love, and we will see you guys soon. Peace.